Hey guys, I'm coming to you from my apartment here in Dallas, Texas. Here it was day 3 of Steelers training camp practice today in Latrobe, and once again, Russell Wilson was out with that calf injury, but we do have a little bit of an injury update on him. Justin Fields was once again working with the first team offense today. We're going to be breaking down everything to discuss when it comes to the quarterback situation, plus I have some standouts here from Latrobe to discuss as well. But before we get into it, go ahead and give me a follow on X if you haven't already. You can find me at Jack_Sperry. I've been live tweeting live during practices, letting you guys know what's going on, when it happens, all that great stuff. So if you want more extensive live coverage of Steelers training camp this year, you can find me at Jack_Sperry. And then we've been doing these practice reports every single day. I'm usually in studio, but today I'm on my day off, so I'm here at my place, my apartment. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for free coverage of Steelers training camp here on YouTube. Without further ado, let's jump into it here. And the first thing I want to talk about is Russell Wilson, and he's just been progressively doing more and more things every single day. Of course, on Thursday, he did that sled push, calf tightened up on him. He was in shorts and in tennis shoes on Thursday. Then yesterday he was in football pants and tennis shoes. And then today he got the cleats on. He did a little bit of the team stretching. He did some individual work today. He was a limited participant in practice, but he did not have his helmet. So that pretty much means he wasn't a part of team drills today. And it was once again Justin Fields who was going to get the first team reps. We'll break down Fields and what he did today, but first I want to talk a little bit about Russ. And I do think that the Steelers being as careful as they are being with him, I do think that that means that they like what they've seen from him during the OTA period of the offseason, all that stuff, and going into training camp, they feel like they've seen enough here to be this careful with Russell Wilson. They're treating Russ like he is their week 1 starter right now, because if they felt like this was a true competition, maybe they would be getting Russ out there so that, to kind of juxtapose him versus Fields and kind of get that competition going, because Russell Wilson has said himself that he feels good enough to practice right now. And right now Mike Tomlin is just keeping him out of practice because he doesn't want this minor calf injury to turn into a major thing, and that sounds like something you do with your starting quarterback. So this kind of confirms, for me at least, that Mike Tomlin does see Russell Wilson as this team's week 1 starter, and because he's been doing more and more every day, and he was in football pants, he was in cleats today, I do think he'll probably take that next step, and he will be practicing at least a little bit during the team practice tomorrow. Okay, but now let's talk about Justin Fields, because you guys know, if you've been watching the show here, been watching the practice reports, that Justin has been up and down, especially in the 11-on-11 periods in practice in Latrobe. First 2 days, today I thought he had his best day. Now, during 7 shots, if you guys don't know what 7 shots is, it's the first 7 plays of practice. You're right on the goal line. It's offense versus defense. First 1 to 4 wins. They're going to do it 7 times. That's why it's called 7 shots. Today, the defense won 6-1. Absolute domination from the defense. So once again, it was a struggle for Justin Fields to get into the end zone. He was 1 for 4 today in his 4 opportunities to get into the end zone, and then yesterday he was 1 for 5. So that means 2 for 9 in those goal line situations for Justin Fields to start camp. Not exactly great, but today I thought during the 11-on-11 periods he looked more comfortable, he looked more in control of the offense, his accuracy was better, thought he was making better decisions. And another thing that you have to give Justin Fields credit for through the first 3 days of practice, well, he's been the number 1 quarterback, is that he hasn't thrown 1 interception. He's been really doing a good job protecting the football, not putting the ball in harm's way. If he's throwing into tight coverage, he's throwing to one-on-one coverage, and if it's a miss, it's hitting the dirt instead of going into the defense's hands. So that's certainly something that you have to give Justin Fields credit for. He's protecting the football, he's doing all that good stuff. And then today he was completing more passes. I thought his accuracy was a little bit better. Did take some sacks, did have some poor throws still, but I thought today was his most consistent day, especially in the 11-on-11 period, which he has really struggled in the first 2 days. So good stuff from Justin Fields today. I really thought that he improved in that team period today, even against the first team defense. And we know the Steelers defense is absolutely disgusting. So to see Justin get some success against that unit today was definitely good. But the question is, because I do think Russell Wilson hits the field tomorrow, has Justin Fields done enough in these 3 days to show that this should be an open competition for QB1? And I think the answer to that question right now is no. Now, I do think he's played well enough where he hasn't completely taken himself out of a running, right? I think that he's played well enough where if Russ gets off to a slow start this season, then yeah, like they're going to feel relatively comfortable having Justin come in because he does have those reps with the first team offense. He will get those reps during the preseason games this year, right? So I do think that Justin is still in the mix, but I still think Russ is pretty solidified as the week 1 starter at this point. Now, if Russ goes out there and starts throwing interceptions and he looks really bad, then yeah, if Justin continues to protect the football and hit guys down the field, then we can start having a conversation. But without seeing Russell Wilson and knowing that Fields has been up and down through these first 3 days, I don't think the dynamic has changed, at least for head coach Mike Tomlin at this point. Now we'll shift from the quarterback position to some of the other standouts that I took and some other takeaways that I took from practice today. The offensive standout today, a really good sign for the Steelers offense, was rookie receiver Roman Wilson. He was the star of the show, made a bunch of great catches. Whether it was down the field on a fade route to a drag route that he made a man miss on and then took for a long gain. I mean, Roman Wilson, he's getting open, he's making plays after the catch. Like, this guy's route running is absolutely sublime. I can totally see why Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin fell in love with this kid during the draft process. And I definitely think that he's going to have a prominent role in this Steelers offense by the time we get to week 1, especially if they don't add another receiver. I think Calvin Austin III has maybe a little bit disappointed. I thought that we might see a little bit more flash from CA3. That flash is being provided by Roman Wilson right now. So it's nice to see the young kid going out there, looking comfortable, looking good, really making some splash plays. So big shout out to Roman Wilson. Another person, and now we'll shift to the defensive standout of the day for me, and that's Joey Porter Jr., who really had a great day today. He had a couple of really nice pass breakups, and he is shutting down George Pickens right now, guys. Like, we know that George Pickens, he's usually somebody that's there making big splash plays, all this stuff during training camp, making these spectacular catches. Joey Porter Jr. is on him one-on-one in that press man coverage, and he is shutting him down just like JPJ shut down every other number 1 receiver that he faced last year. So I think Joey Porter Jr. is really going to be in for a big season this year. He's made some really big plays when they have targeted him, but Justin is kind of staying away from him, if I'm being honest, because he is just blanketing the Steelers' best receiver right now, and that's George Pickens. So big shout out to Joey Porter Jr. Now, some other takeaways here before I say goodbye for the day. When it comes to the running back situation, we know how important the run game is going to be to this Steelers offense this year. Jaylen Warren, in my opinion, has outshined Najee Harris quite a bit through the first 3 days of practice. Najee had a fumble today. Jaylen not only caught a touchdown, but had a couple explosive runs. I really think that this outside zone run scheme fits Jaylen Warren's skill set a little bit more than Najee Harris. Not to say that Najee won't have a very prominent role in this offense. He will, being that bruising type running back, but I definitely think Jaylen once again is going to be providing the explosive plays, providing kind of that dynamicism, right? He's going to be that more dynamic weapon in this offense for Arthur Smith to use on a regular basis. Another player, another rookie, I should say, that is really flying around. He's playing mostly with the second team defense right now, but he's playing really well. It's Peyton Wilson, the rookie out of North Carolina State. The inside linebacker's really looking good, man. They're blitzing him. He's flying all over the place. He's got serious speed. He kind of almost looks as fast as Patrick Queen, and Patrick Queen, as we know, is an all-world kind of athlete. So I really think that the Steelers got a steal, not only in Roman Wilson, but Peyton Wilson as well. I think they will be pretty prominent people on the Steelers roster this year and in their rotation. In terms of the edge rusher number 4 spot, we've been talking about it on the show quite a bit. Will it be Jeremiah Moon? Will it be somebody else? Kyron Johnson is somebody that I think has got the early lead. in terms of who has played the best in camp so far. Kyron Johnson, a bit undersized, kind of like Nick Herbig, but he's so fast, man. He's so bursty off the snap. He won a couple times today with just straight speed rushes. Now, he was going up against the second team O-line, but nonetheless, he's been impressive to this point. I do think he's been more impressive than, say, Jeremiah Moon or David Perales. And I think that Kyron Johnson right now has the early lead in that race to be the number 4 edge rusher. Also, Cam Johnston, the punter, we got to see his leg for the first time today. He looked great, man. He had some booming punts, really accurate as well. I think that the Steelers are really going to like what Cam Johnston brings to the table, especially after what we've had to suffer through here with Presley Harvin III as of late. Chris Boswell also got to kick some field goals, and it wasn't the best day for Boz, if I'm being honest with you. He missed a 42-yard field goal. He missed a 44-yard field goal, and from that distance in the National Football League, you have to be automatic, man. Anything under 50 yards, you have to be able to make it pretty much every single time. And Boz struggled a little bit at practice, but hopefully that's just, first day jitters sort of thing. It's the first time they really worked on field goals today, so hopefully as camp goes on, Boz continues to play better with his leg. And then a little bit of an injury update here. Rodney Williams, the tight end, went down with a shoulder injury. Hopefully he's going to be okay moving forward. Hopefully he can get back before the season, and hopefully this doesn't hinder his chances of competing for a roster spot here this year. I know the Steelers really like him, kept him on the practice squad last year. And he's been somebody that, I know the people in the locker room really like. So hopefully Rodney's okay. Hopefully he can get back on the practice field relatively soon. But that's going to be pretty much my practice report for today, guys. Really do appreciate your support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll be back tomorrow with my practice report from Sunday's practice. Hopefully Russell Wilson can get on the field. I'm very excited to see what Russ can do in this system, because it seems like Arthur Smith has a big emphasis on throwing the ball down the field. We know that's Russ's biggest strength in his game, so really excited to see Russ get out there. It certainly seems like Russ is really advocating for him to do more and more every day. And if Russ is out there, big thing I'm going to be watching out for is what does the first team reps distribution look like? Do they give Justin half of them? Does he get 25%? Does he get barely any? Does Russ take all of them? These questions are going to be answered here in the next couple of days. So if you want to get the latest updates from Steelers training camp, I'm going to be here giving you guys a video every single day breaking it down. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now.